Hey there, welcome to Contracts and Chaos. My name's Alyssa.
And I'm Brenna, and we're here to tell you that you are not alone in the mayhem of this real estate industry.
We're keeping it real and sharing our stories, strategies, and successes in today's real estate world.
So come join us every Tuesday while we talk contracts and chaos.
Picture I text you?
Oh, no, because my phone's on, or should be
Oh,
on Do Not Disturb, because we record. Hold on.
right.
Let me look.
We're gonna have to cut this beginning part out.
Oh my God, that's is that his mom?
She comes, there's 4 windows that she can reach from the
Alyssa
outside
texted me
that
a
he can also
picture
reach on the inside.
of
And so they sit there and
her
talk all
rescue
day.
cat that she rescued from Mama Cat, who still
Yes.
lives at her house, basically just on the outside, and it's so cute. They're like hanging out through the window.
Yeah.
Anyways, today, guys, we are in quarter 4. Can you even?
No, I can't.
This
It
year, I think we
was
say
like
this every
yesterday
year.
we did quarter
Oh
3.
God! And every year we're like, oh my God, can you believe it? But seriously, this year is the year that I'm like, how in the world is it October?
I didn't touch the lake or the beach or have a picnic or anything once this summer,
Oh, I touched the beach for 20 minutes last weekend for Violet's softball tournament when everyone was like, "Oh, it's so cool! You get to go to the beach for softball." And I was like, "I'm not going to see the. I'm not going to see the beach.
right? That's like
I'm
when I
in
used to
Myrtle
get
Beach,
sent to the
but
beach. Yeah, I used to get sent to Myrtle Beach and Charleston for work meetings, and my, like, colleagues were like, "Oh, you're so lucky." And I was like,
I
"The
literally,
office is, like, 6 blocks away.
yeah,
I'm not touching this." I don't know, like, it's not like we hang out on the beach with a
right.
cooler to have this meeting. I don't know
Mhm.
what you're talking, but I think the only water I touched this summer, and for reference, y'all, like, I have a giant mermaid scale tattoo. Water is my thing. It's what makes me happy.
Well, in
Um,
one of our episodes, we talked about what was in our car, and I'm pretty confident you had a beach bag or something in
yeah,
your car
I
for
keep a
just
boat
like
bag in
random
my
like
car.
boat bag. That's
Mhm.
what it was.
Yep. Yeah, it has a bathing suit, a towel, sunscreen. Yeah, just in 'cause I was the president of the Charlotte Water Ski Club, I'm still a member, so I have access to lakefront property. Didn't see it once this summer. I paid my dues last month, and I was like, "Well, there goes
That
$250."
was worthless. Yeah, it's just crazy. But here we are in Q4 now. And if you still hear hammering, there's still work going on upstairs. So
Well, and just a heads up, it's for some reason switched out of my headphones to my computer, so I'm also going to have to mute you because we're gonna have an echo if I don't.
we are doing great things. And again, it's pretty soon we're going to be doing our spooky stories episode because we are coming up on starting our 3rd year of this podcast, which is crazy.
It is crazy, and we probably need to record that just scheduling-wise next week.
Yeah, because our anniversary is here in the next 2 weeks. Well, today, and we're gonna try it to be quickie, a little quickie, but we had a 12-week year last quarter. We really tried to niche down to dial in on one thing that we were focusing on over the quarter. And honestly, I'm happy with how mine went. So I'm curious. This quarter, you guys, has been a disaster for both of us. We'll just be very between life and work and just the universe throwing things.
Yeah.
There's been a lot this quarter, but I think that the biggest thing that you can do, and we say this every time, you're not going to hit perfection every time, right?
No.
The whole point is to keep going, to keep working, to pivot, to change where you need to. And that's why last quarter we were like, listen, we really need to focus on one thing that we're going to commit to in our business that for this next quarter and see what happens. So, Alyssa, you want to
So, well, and on to that point, if you're watching this on video and we post this, you saw me turn around. Even with all of the shit life has handed me, literally from day 1 this year. I mean, y'all have been with us since my lender and insurance agent backed out of all my marketing, and I had
and
to
she was sick for
reconfigure,
2 months the beginning of the year.
right? And then, dad dies, all the things, drunk driver hits me, literally, if you name it, it's probably happened this year. Um, right now, with what I have under contract, I will hit the number of closings I had last year, and that doesn't count referrals or, like, leases. Um, and with what I have in the pipeline, I have at least 1 more. So it's not the same volume. It's not gonna be the same dollar amount because I had a $1,000,000 closing last year, so that, that's 3 normal price range closings for me, 2 to 3. So, but I'm okay knowing I still hit at least one more than I had last year, especially with everything. I looked at that last night and then rechecked it just now. I don't feel as bad because, like, last night when we were like, "Hey, we have to do this episode today," I was like, "Fudge. I don't want," but okay, yeah, life has been a mess. Life has been really inconsistent this year. We were just talking about it, like, the month of November, I'm out of town 3 weeks out of the month, and I still feel okay, and that's how it's kind of been since July. I've been out of town at least 1 week a month, if not 2, since the middle of July.
And
So,
this isn't like vacations that you've gone. There's been
no.
circumstances beyond your control that you've been able to
Yeah,
do here. Um,
right, and so I haven't been as consistent with, like, the, going after, like, expireds. I haven't done that since mid-July, I'll be honest. I haven't looked at them. I haven't touched them. I haven't followed up. Um, so there would have been potential for more. I have been. The one thing I committed to was social media. I've stuck with doing the high production videos for my listings. When my coaching expires in November or December, I've decided to take on a video package with my videographer to make that more consistent. Um, I didn't do like a lot of Facebook paid ads like I was talking about doing just because life has been nuts. I've done them for my listings, but not like the just one offs of like, hey, here. And I am obviously now I have a little more bandwidth to use my brain to do that. But knowing that the third quarter literally took a left turn 2 weeks into it, um, a life altering permanent left turn, I don't feel bad. I feel like I did what I had the capacity for. I kept the ship upright. Um, I'm not applying for a big, comfy work from home salaried job. I have not given up, and I'm okay with that. And
Well,
that's what
she's
it is.
underselling it. So there's a lot of things that have gone on in this past quarter for for Alyssa, and she 1,000% still showing up on social media. There was a couple of weeks where you're like, I gotta like morph myself back into this because I just posted some real heavy stuff. So how do I make that
Right,
pivot
how do
from
I
like these like
literally I think I did send you that text message, like, how do I pivot from dead dad post to, "Hey, wanna buy a house?" Like,
No,
that's
you did. It was
awkward.
like, how do I go from this like vulnerable, heartbroken me that just shared from the bottom of my soul back to like, hey, check out my listing on 123 Banana Street.
Right.
You know, this is
Yep.
Sparta. Which, if you don't follow, Alyssa, you probably should. Because some of her videos, I'm like, oh my god,
Thank
she's
you.
so cute. I love them. But no, you've undersold that too because you've also in this past quarter added a lot to your plate that you had no intention of adding to your plate, right?
Yes.
Beyond managing and helping out family things, you have continued to work with these clients and have these closings and move your business. But you're also getting licensed in another state right now, too, which
Yeah.
anybody who's listening to this podcast knows what kind of time and commitment that is and study that goes into it because real estate is not, and it should be, but it's not streamlined across the country. It is very, very different
No.
state to state.
No, and, like, we say North Carolina is an attorney state, not a title state because the attorneys do all that. New York is much different. So, like, I'm learning they do all of their negotiating for repairs and everything, all of their inspections before they are under contract. At least my instructor, she's like, "That's what it's like downstate." Upstate might be a little different, but downstate, which is not where I will be, she's like, "We have that all before we mark it as under contract because the attorney doesn't wanna deal with all those negotiations and changes in the paperwork." And I was like, "What?"
I mean, it makes sense, but holy crap, I
Like,
cannot imagine
right?
doing that.
I no, like, I just look at it, I'm like, "That's a lot of risk for a buyer because how do you know they're not letting another buyer do that?"
No, so I have a client that's moving here from New Jersey, and they have like an attorney review process in New Jersey, which is very different. They are on their third buyer with their best contract because as they're under in attorney review, they're able to still market, to still accept another offer. So if
Mhm.
somebody comes to the table, stronger offer, better terms, whatever the case may be, they can be like, yeah, sorry, we got a better buyer.
Yeah,
And
it's
which is
crazy.
completely opposite from North Carolina, where like the buyer holds all the cards. You know, the
Right.
seller can't walk away, the buyer
No.
can.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it is a lot, and you're right, maybe I am underselling it because I also, like, joined a local board to, um, help improve the city I live in, and I've just there's a lot. There is a lot. I run our monthly meetup for the firm, which is you're coming this month, right? It's Halloween themed. You should be there.
I really don't like Halloween does nothing for me. We've gone over this. I am a Christmas baby.
I know, I know. But anyway, um, well, we're gonna have a Thanksgiving one. I think we're gonna skip December because it's crazy. But anyway, so I organized that. I was organizing a weekly meetup that, quite frankly, since July, I have not put back together because I didn't have the emotional capacity. Excuse. I love the people who come, and if you're listening, it's probably not you. I just didn't have the emotional capacity to listen to everyone bitch every week because I was looking at the world going, "Are you fucking kidding me? How dare you feel like life is hard right now?" So I do need to put that back together because it'll probably be an after the holidays thing at this point. But yeah, I have a lot. Life went from not 0 to 60, but it went from 60 to 120. It's become an extended drag strip. It's not or a
An extended
it
drag strip.
or like one
Well,
of those what's the race where, like a rally where they, like, cross the country in their
yeah,
supercars. That's what I am in. It feels every day like I have gotta get from New York to LA and be the fastest one there, and God forbid my car breaks down or I get a flat tire, like, I that's what every day in my life feels like right now.
there's a lot.
So,
And the other thing I want to say too, because listen, real estate is hard. It's
it
hard, you
is.
guys. So for everybody that's like, oh my gosh, and there's people that have increased their business, which is amazing. For the people that are like maintaining business, that's still such a huge feat right now because buyers are dragging their feet, sellers are dragging their feet, sellers are being unreasonable, buyers are being unreasonable. It's one of those things. So,
Yep.
with all of this crap on your plate and still with everything under contract and set to close before the end of the year, maintaining that momentum because you had some huge momentum last year. Last year was your biggest year, wasn't it?
Yep, last year's my biggest year, so technically this year will be, and if we look at the number of contracts that fell out this year, like, I just had one terminate this weekend, and I've had at least I can tell you at least 3 others because my TC's charging me for this one, um, and she has a 3 for free rule, so I've had at least 4 terminate. So, if we looked at, like, what I actually got under contract and not technically closed, it's a much better year than last year, even with everything. It's just life happens to other people too, like the one that terminated this weekend, he had a life-altering event that took all of the money to buy this house. Shit happens. So like,
And you can
I'm
feel that right now. You're like, "I hear you. It
"Ugh,
sucks, but I hear
I hear
you."
you."
There's just
But
circumstances outside of your control sometimes.
yeah, and so I feel I was beating myself up because hadn't looked at my numbers recently, um, but looking at what I do have on track to close, knowing what I have in my pipeline, knowing how many terminated, and knowing the shit that's been handed to me literally since January 1st this year, I'm good. I don't feel bad about myself. It's not the year I wanted, but it's still better than last year, and I have not given up. So I'm fine. So Q3, well, it didn't turn out because literally day 1 of Q3 I got hit by a drunk driver. Day 19 of Q3 my dad died. I mean, considering that and the other stuff, I still feel like I had a good Q3. I didn't I had committed to social media to do more video and to do, like, paid ads. That was my one thing. And like I said, I did do more video, not as much as I want to because quite frankly, I can probably count on both hands the number of times I've been fully dressed with hair and makeup done since July 19th, and 2 of those are gonna be calling hours in a funeral because that's just not the space I'm in unless I have to be right now. Um So, I feel would I've loved it to be better? Yes, absolutely, but shit happens, and sometimes you just gotta eat a shit sandwich and keep moving, so, um, I feel but I'm glad we're doing this because I think this is what I needed a little kick in the pants to be like, "Okay, you can still grieve. You've still got shit to handle, but let's reset and recalculate and talk about moving forward." So I'm good. So how did your Q3 go? And then we'll go into what we wanna do for Q4.
Hold on one second.
Brenna's still having construction done, so we are, selectively muting when her husband is upstairs hammering and sawing and drilling and all the things. I'm gonna send him, Dunkin' Donuts next week and be like, uh, "I need you to take a break for 45 minutes. Here you go. Sit down, Travis." Or we're gonna record, like, at 7 o'clock at night if the girls don't have practice.
Oh my god, I think the girls have practice from now until Christmas. But no, Q3 went. My one thing this quarter was really focusing on my 5 mile famous, right? And I
Mhm.
did that selectively because in my mind we are doing online school this year, right? So I'm like, well, crap, all of the work that I've done because and not just for business. I love the people at our school. I love the people in our community. I am a very social person. I'm like, all that's gone to waste, right? No, Brenna, no, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't.
So Q3, I was like, I'm going to work on my people, my sphere, my 5 mile famous. So I started doing the postcards again. I got away from postcards, mailing postcards out to people in my community. Started doing that. So I did that 3 times, once a month, which is huge. It's a good start. It goes out to a little over 200 people. And we had a couple of meetups, mom meetups, which were like we did one at the library, we did one at the roller skating rink, and just I would reach out to people. And, hey, I'm taking the kids here. Some moms are going to come, bring the kids, whatever. We had 9 families at one and 5 at another, which is fine. Like you just get to meet up with people and do those things. I've still been on the PTO board. We actually just did our biggest fundraiser of the year last weekend, which is my favorite one because you get to see so many people and everybody. The energy's high. The kids are having a great time. Got to see the teachers. We actually, that's the other thing. When school started, we put together like back to school bags for the teachers. They had like hand lotion, hand sanitizer, emergency pack, like just little fun things, and like a chapstick that says "You're the bomb" on it. And they loved those. Those had my school calendar magnets in there as well. That was one of the biggest things this quarter was the school calendar magnets. Last year I sent them out to 180 people. This year I sent out over 450, which is a
Damn.
huge difference. And I made it online too. So when I mailed them out with a postcard that had a QR code to a Google Calendar that I created so they could add that calendar to their Google Calendar. So now they
Love
get
it.
notifications. I set up a whole thing in my email platform that, the weekend before a teacher work day, that it goes out and says, don't forget, the 17th is a mandatory teacher work day, no school for students. For our specific school, I made one that includes our PTO events, right? So our Startown Spectacular was on there. PTO meetings are on there. Anything special we're doing for the teachers is on there. And that's all set up now for the entire school year. I don't have to touch it, but those people are
Right.
getting those notifications. They're getting those emails from me for the rest of the year. So
That's awesome. And
no,
that's great. Like, that's legwork you did up front, and it's kind of a
mhm,
set it and forget it unless the school suddenly throws a surprise in there and you're like, "Okay, hold on." Like, I
we
love that.
edit. Yeah, no, it works out really well. And I have picked up a buyer from the school, directly from the school, and a seller reached out to me 2 weeks ago now. It'll be a sell and a buy from a postcard that a friend of hers got. So,
Nice.
because they're not in my 5 miles, they're a little bit outside of that, but they're like, oh, well, then we looked on Facebook and we see you recommended everywhere and you're at the Startown, like the whole 9 yards. So I'm like, that's great. And then actually at the fundraiser this weekend, one of the teachers came up and she's like, Brenna. And I was like, what? And she's like, I need to talk to you next week. She's like, I need a realtor. And I was like, yeah, girl, you know where to find
Right?
me. And she's like, yes, I do. So
Right? Well, and
they're
not
all
only did you help organize that fundraiser because you are in the PTO, you and your husband's also a small business owner in the area, you sponsored, like, 2 inflatables, so your signs were there, and I'm sure knowing you, you had a QR code or something on it to get people back, and you didn't?
no QR codes.
Brenna.
No, just all the contact information's on there. So
Okay.
they do the signs, right? Because they're all like,
Right.
you send the logo, they make this the signs, which
Gotcha.
is fine. I
I had that
also
for the golf
did.
tournament this spring, and I typed my phone number wrong. I left a whole digit out.
Oh, well, I
Yeah,
didn't do that. I did double check my phone number.
yeah. That's
But
okay.
the
I just went with a
other thing that
Sharpie
I
and
did, we did had a silent auction there, and I donated a 2-night stay for them to auction off at the Airbnb
at the
too.
Airbnb. Very
Which
nice.
the packet that I put together had like, of course, information about me, had a QR code, had my information, had one of my magazines, the Reminder Media magazines in there. So
Mhm.
that's great. And that, like, all of my information, she wrote up a little blurb about me and my business, my family for the silent auction part of it. So anybody that stopped and read that stopped and read that. So,
That's awesome. Yeah. So,
so
yeah,
what
you
are we
did a good job.
focusing on for Q4?
Okay. So, I am still going to focus on one thing because well, also doing, like, the other things, but my focus
I think the one thing really worked out well because it's
it
so
did,
easy to be
especially,
like, I'm
like
working on this and I'm working on this because we do
right,
all of the things every day, but really having like, this is what I'm working on,
right.
I think was huge.
Yes. So, I am going to focus on the same thing because I know it works, and I know that if I did do what I said I was doing, it would work. Also because I have a lot of travel coming up. Um, I think October, I only have to go to Georgia once. November, I'm in New York twice, in Florida for a week, and then I'm in Georgia for Thanksgiving. And then Christmas will be Georgia for Thanksgiving. That's just the minimum right now. That's what I can rattle off the top of my head. Um, and I can travel and do social media. That's easy. Ed helped me build a GPT that literally creates the content for me, and I could even have AI create the video. But if I commit to that daily and then doing some Facebook ads here and there, I know bandwidth wise, I can handle that. And with all of the travel I have, it doesn't require me to be boots on the ground or stuff like that. So I'm committing to that. The other thing I am going to ask you to commit to with me.
I was muted,
One
but I said, oh God.
one of the things that we have both fallen off on, but I feel like knowing where our emotions and stuff is right now, I want us to get back to our daily, here's what I'm supposed to do today. Even if it's just I have showings all day. I need a little bit of accountability to push me to get off the couch some days, to push me to not be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get my nails done instead of pursue my expireds," or I I need to know that someone is the next day gonna be like, "What did you do yesterday?" And we used to do this. We used to d and we were never, like, everyday consistent all the time, but we've completely fallen off since life happened, and I would like to ask you, even if it's just me sending it to you, I'm just going to recommit to that because I need to like, I was going through my planner last night and highlighting and color coding, and at first it wasn't color coded, and I was like, I don't know what any of this means." I'm recommitting to that. So your phone's gonna get texts, sorry.
That's fine. Honest to God, we need to add a board into our Trello and just
Right.
put it in there because then we can like check it off. The problem is like, here's sometimes I'm like, here's my time block, right? This is what we send each other. Well, but then the day does the day thing. And sometimes those things aren't actually what got accomplished, you know?
Right.
So it almost like we need to be like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing today. And also like before bed, be like,
This is what I act
accountable.
well,
This is
that's
what I actually.
when I ran a 12-week year group, we would every morning, we would say, "This is what I need to do today," and then it was a refresher of what I was supposed to do yesterday, and you would mark what you actually got done. So then if you needed to bump something, so yeah, we can do that. Then it's only 1 message a day.
Yeah, like today's
Um,
top 3 and
right,
yesterday's recap. Yeah,
right.
it's good
So
for me. It really is because otherwise I just am accountable to myself. Which I mean, I'm not somebody that's like, oh, I have to do this and not do it all the time. But it is nice to have somebody else.
right.
Is
I need that little kick to get back in my groove. I've I've kept the like I said earlier, I've kept the ship upright, but the ship needs to be back on course now as much as I can get it there with everything that's going on. So,
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
yeah,
Well, I'm glad you're sticking with the same thing because, and we've said this before too, just because the quarter's over doesn't mean you need to change something and do something dramatic in your business,
right.
right? If it's working, it's working. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I am going to stick with the 5 mile famous thing too. More stuff at the school, more local stuff. The girls are looking getting into 4-H, like helping out with the softball team more, like those kinds of things that keep me out and busy in the community.
Yeah. Well, and like the postcard campaign, again, that's with holidays coming up and with your girls' busy schedule. Those are things you can build and schedule and they just go. And it's not you don't have to be in it every day. So I think with where you guys are in life, that makes sense to me because you can some of that stuff you can set it and forget it or it's not an everyday task. So that
Well, and that's why I love the emails because I can schedule them out a month in advance or things like that. And postcards, like once I create them on Canva and edit them and do and upload them to mail, you can set them to certain days, right? So if I wanted
right,
to, I could have all my postcards done for 6 months, but I changed the QR codes on there, depending like
right.
if it's like a seasonal download or something like that. Maybe it just goes to my link tree. Who knows? But there's a little bit of things that gets edited in there. But I've had actually people be like, "Hey, I got your Reminder Media. I got your magazine. That's so cool." And oh, I got the splash pads postcard this month, and my kids loved it. It was just like those kinds of things. So I think that maybe I'll end up on more refrigerators than just my calendar magnets this year.
Right. So are you, just out of curiosity and for people who are listening, your postcards, you say you're designing them in Canva. Are you building them from scratch? Are you using like an elevated agent or a coffee and contracts? Are you using a service to mail them or are you like hand addressing and putting stamps on everything? What are you doing?
Oh, girl, I don't have time to hand address 200
I'm doing
envelopes.
circle prospecting for my listing today and I'm like, "Oh, this takes forever."
I think I have to look. I can put it in the show notes. I think it's superagent.com. It ends up being like 60 cents or 65 cents per postcard, but they're the jumbo postcards. So they're 8.5 by 6. So they're the big ones. And that includes
Nice.
postage. And they're great quality. So I'm like, that like makes no sense for me to have them printed and me to mail them out.
No.
I can't do it for that amount of money. Most of them are actually from Momentum, which is the Girls with Grit monthly subscription. They
Right.
added postcards maybe a couple of years ago into them, which is super cool. And I have coffee and contracts as a subscription too, but they don't do a lot of postcards. They do a lot of newsletter in there.
Right.
But the
Which you could
Momentum
convert
ones,
into a postcard if you needed to, like
yep,
if you needed a topic,
absolutely.
pull it out of
Well,
there.
and that's the thing too. So when I use the create the postcard, put the information in there, I'm doubling it up, tripling it up because I use it as a social media post. I put it in an email that goes out to the local community. So I'm hitting them with the same information or different people with the same information 3 or 4 times.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's it's good and it's redundant. So if they see it in their mailbox and then they get it in their inbox and then they see it on Facebook, they're like, wow, this girl is literally everywhere, which
Right?
is the idea. Yes, I am.
But yeah, okay. I was just curious because I was like, I don't there's so many companies and there's like I know Reminder Media does have postcards, so I didn't know if you
Mhm.
were since you're already with them,
I think
if you were using
honestly,
them.
after the Christmas mailing goes out, I think I'm gonna quit the Reminder Media
Really?
because I do, and it's not because I don't love the magazines. The magazines are great quality. Um, I have gotten much more feedback, more QR scans, more responses, I guess, in general from the postcards
Interesting.
than the magazines. And the magazines are like $5 a piece
Yeah,
ish.
they're expensive.
They are expensive, and they go out quarterly. But for the same amount of money, I could literally double my postcard mailing in this area and do it
Yeah,
monthly. And do it monthly. So I don't know because I've gotten such a different reaction from the postcards. Maybe I'll
right.
just do the postcards.
Yeah, well, and I don't use my postcard or my Reminder Media necessarily for prospecting.
Mhm.
It's more of a set it and forget it quarterly touch for past clients. And I will tell you I went to a listing, it wasn't mine, it wasn't my Reminder Media magazines, but
But there was one.
I don't know if it was the seller, and you could tell they were old, the person had read through them, they've been there, unless the agent staged it, but it wasn't a vacant house. They had them set out on the counter, and I was like, "Ah, okay,
Well,
this
and
makes sense."
I have probably because I get 15 extra ones sent to me every time too, because I
Mhm,
use them in my her boxes. I use them
same.
in different things. So I still have a chunk, and they're not dated, which is cool because
Right.
you can then like still use them after that mailing has
Mhm.
passed. So I'll still use the ones that I have, but for now, like I because of the reactions I have with the postcards, I'm gonna go that route, you know,
Yeah,
because
I would,
it's
absolutely.
literally I can literally double the number of people that I'm sending a postcard to monthly versus continuing that, 150 or so
Yeah, I actually need to go clean out
quarterly.
my Reminder Media list because
Mhm.
when I first started it, I put family in there, and I literally
Yeah,
told them, "Go take this to your local coffee shop,
drop
please.
it off.
Share this with a
Mhm.
friend." And now I'm like, "All right, y'all know your friends are on my social media now. You're out. I
I
love you." Except my
you don't get
grandma. My
another
grandma will
magazine
always get one because she literally is
anymore.
like, "I got your magazine this month." And I'm like, "Uh-huh."
Mhm. I mail them to my grandparents too.
Right? Like,
So excited
um
to have a face in their magazine. But no, that's really, I think that's really it. We've, and I say we've loosely because you've conquered a lot more than I have this year. We've had a lot of different things happen um, with the homeschooling, with the family situations that you traveling back and forth, those things. I'm proud of us. Say, I'm on God, fingers crossed, eyeballs crossed, toes, knock on wood, all of the things. Everything that should close by the end of this year, I will have just tipped over my production last year, which last year was my best year too. So
nice. So, yeah, so we're good. We're
pretty
like
great.
with like you said, with everything that life has handed us, I'm good. Like, my lights are
Mhm,
still on, my mortgage is paid, I'm not rolling in it, but and I will say, like, I was thinking about it today, I know what I want my number to be for next year,
mhm,
and so I think the push really is on 4th quarter to start building for next year. That's if you guys are thinking about your 4th quarter tactics for 4th quarter business, you're gonna have to adjust. It's gonna be something drastic to get now business. What you're doing 4th quarter right now is gonna pump your 1st and 2nd quarter for next year. So, and I know my goal next year is 20. I want 20 closings. Just to add that. I would love 24, but I don't know where the world's gonna take me. So,
right, right.
that
No,
may
but say
adjust,
that
but
90-day rule. We've talked about this several times. Like we can date back like these things about of
yep.
like things happened. We've taken time off, like whatever the case may be. 90 days from then, we're like, where are the people? So if you're trying to get like this last quarter, like you said, like I need 3 more closings before December, you might get them. You very well
Yeah.
might, but the work that you're putting in now is going to drastically affect that first quarter. So we'll probably do an episode, but like clean out your database. Like you said, clean up your Reminder Media magazine list, like those kinds of things. Take your dang CE while you're slow and keep
Yes.
core.
I actually oh,
Like
that reminds me, I have to put that on my calendar. I have one coming up in a couple of weeks. Up
do
near you.
those
You should come.
things. Where? Send it to me. Anyways, but yeah, do those
Yeah.
things. Get yourself ready because what you're doing now is going to affect you come January 7th because
Mhm.
that's 90 days from now. So
Right.
that's
And if all of those agents who t it amazes me every year, who take off from the week before Thanksgiving through the end of the year, they're not doing those things. They're not gonna have the January business. So, do it now so that you can outpace them, or maybe I mean, I don't need to steal clients, but the business is gonna be there. So, if you can hit the ground running in January because you didn't quit over the holidays, go get it, y'all. Just go get it. Take life by the reins. Get to what you can because you never know if tomorrow's gonna be here. So, um
with that.
right? Sorry, didn't mean to end on doom and gloom, but it's the truth. You don't know what's gonna hit. Like we were saying, I had that client, I don't know what happened, I'm not going to ask, but he said something happened and I had to spend the money for the down payment. And I could hear it in his voice, and I was like, "Okay, no questions asked. We'll terminate." You don't know what's gonna happen, so build as much as you can with your Q4 tactics to make sure Q1 is going to be good. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, y'all. We will see you next week.
Bye, guys. We just finished another episode of Contracts and Chaos, but believe me, the chaos does not stop here. So check out the show notes for our email address and where to follow us on socials, and we will see you next week.